Hey guys, I just wanted to share with you 3 of my favorite high protein, healthy breakfast ideas that are on the table fast, so you don't have to spend a ton of time in the kitchen to get a lot of nutrients in your body, and I promise they'll keep you full until lunch. So the first recipe we're gonna make is this fall oatmeal. You could really make it any time of the year, but there's just something about it. I guess it's the ingredients, the pumpkin and the nuts and the maple syrup, that just makes me think of fall. It's just cozy somehow. So anyways, I love this because it's very filling, it's got tons of flavor, and even my kids love it. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've made it for anyone who hasn't loved it. It makes 2 servings, so if you're feeding a crowd, you're gonna wanna double or triple this recipe, but let's jump right into it.
What I love about all of these recipes is how simple they are. None of these are super complicated. They all just have really real wholesome ingredients, and I really think you're gonna love all 3 of these. But for this oatmeal, we're gonna start out with 1 cup of milk. Doesn't matter what kind. You can use non-dairy here or regular, and it's fine. And then you're gonna add to that 1/4 cup of canned pumpkin or sweet potato puree. Now, you wanna make sure this is pure pumpkin, not pie filling. And add to that a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And just, you don't have to add all the brown sugar. If you want it less sweet, just don't add as much. And then to that, you're also going to add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And we make our own vanilla, so that's why it's in kind of a funny looking bottle. Super tasty. And then you're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon or pumpkin pie spice, just whichever one tickles your fancy. So you're going to stir it all up and turn your pot on to medium. You want to bring it to a gentle boil, and then once it's brought to a boil, then you can add the oats. So you'll see it's kind of bubbling and boiling here, and you want to give it a stir every once in a while just to make sure everything mixes through and is all blended well. And then you can go ahead and add your oats. Now, I would not recommend using quick oats in this recipe. The recipe calls for old-fashioned oats, which are rolled oats. And you're going to add 1 cup of those to your milk mixture. So once your oats are in there, you can let them simmer on medium heat for about 2 to 3 minutes or until they're cooked to your liking. What I found is that everybody likes their oatmeal a little bit different. I like it a little bit thicker, so I like to let some of the moisture cook off a little bit more. But I know lots of people that like it really thin and soupy, so just however you prefer, you do you. Once your oats are done to your liking, just take the pot off the heat and then add in 2 teaspoons of peanut butter and mix it in. And this just adds a little extra something. It might sound like kind of a strange combination having pumpkin and peanut butter together, but it is so good. As a matter of fact, while I was making this, my son was sitting close by and he was like, that looks disgusting. He said, but I know it tastes amazing. So, don't judge an oatmeal by its looks. Now comes the good stuff where you get to customize your oatmeal even more to your liking. So go ahead and serve yourself some of that oatmeal in a bowl. Now this recipe is supposed to serve 2, but if you want to eat it all and you're really hungry, go for it. This is also where you can add a lot more protein to your oatmeal. So I like to top this with some almond milk, a little drizzle of real maple syrup, because I don't know what it is about real maple syrup, but I just love the flavor. Maybe because I was born in Canada, I don't know. So add some little drizzle of maple syrup to that, and I'm going to put some pecans on top of that for some crunch and some extra protein, and some dried cranberries because it's fall and there's something about cranberries in fall that just go together. Hey, so 2 things. If you try these recipes, will you let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite? And the other thing is, do you say pecans or pecans? I want to know. The second recipe I'm excited to share with you is this fruit and nut quinoa bowl. And I know you're probably thinking, wait a minute, what? Quinoa for breakfast? If you haven't tried it, just trust me, it's actually really good and I think you're gonna love it. And the great thing about quinoa is it's actually really high in protein. I like to make my quinoa the night before so it's chilled and ready to go when I make these bowls. And my favorite toppings on here are probably fresh blueberries and walnuts, so that's what we're using today. Start by putting however much quinoa you want in your bowl. I don't have a huge appetite, so I start with about a 1/4 cup. Add about a tablespoon of chia seeds, about a 1/4 cup of blueberries, a handful of walnuts, a drizzle of almond milk, And then just for a little bit of sweetness, I've got to add some more of that maple syrup because it's the best. The great thing about this recipe is if you are on like an anti-inflammatory diet or really restricted, this is usually something that you can eat. And finally, the last two ingredients, just to give it a pop of flavor, is a little drizzle of peanut butter. Now you could use almond butter or any kind of nut butter here, and a sprinkle of cinnamon, and that's it. How easy is that? And the flavor in this bowl is incredible. There are so many textures and flavors, they just kind of like burst in your mouth. The last recipe I'm excited to share with you today is this creamy fruit and quinoa harvest bowl. And I know you're thinking, Lauren, you're making me eat quinoa for breakfast and now you're adding yogurt to it? So weird, but I promise you it is the best combination. So similar ingredients to the last quinoa bowl, except for we're adding some Greek yogurt to this one. And this Faye, I think that's how you say it, Greek yogurt is my favorite. And yes, it's whole fat because you know, you gotta have some healthy fat in there. It keeps you going. So again, to your bowl, you're gonna start with quinoa. Now you can put however much you like in here. I usually take about a quarter cup and I usually do about an equal part of yogurt to that quinoa. So if you do a quarter cup of quinoa, do a quarter cup of yogurt and so forth. Now we're gonna add our fruit and it's fall, so I am really going with that fall theme and I'm using fresh pears in here and these were perfectly ripe. And yes, I know there's a little bruise, but it's okay. The rest of the pear is fine. So I'm gonna slice that up and add that to my bowl. Now I have tried this in the summertime, so this doesn't have to be just a fall thing. And I made it with peaches and it was amazing. So don't feel like just because I'm calling this a harvest bowl that it has to be in the fall. Pears and pecans are kind of a classic combination, so I used pecans in here, and then I'm going to add some dried cranberries to also add a little sweet and tart flavor to my bowl. And because these are high protein breakfasts, I'm also going to add some sprouted pumpkin seeds to this and a little drizzle of maple syrup. Have you noticed a theme here? I just love maple syrup, what can I say? I really hope you love these 3 recipes. They are super healthy, high in protein, and some of my favorites. And on your way out, don't forget to also check out my easy granola recipe if you're looking for another breakfast that is simple, healthy, and delicious. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.